Alright, let's talk about areas of regular polygons. Remember that a regular polygon means all the sides and all the angles are the same. So let's start with the, what I think is the easiest one, a square. All the angles are the same, all the sides are the same. Let's say we have that line right there, going from the vertice to the center, and let's say it's, I don't know, 10 centimeters. So remember what we learned about squares is if I extend that line all the way across, that's the diagonal. And we can go into why it is, but that line equals the side times the square root of 2. So 20 centimeters is how long that line would be. And that would be the side times the square root of 2. So we just take 20 and divide it by the square root of 2 to find out how long the side is. So our side would equal 10 square roots of 2. And then you would square that. So 10 square root of 2 squared would equal our area. So when I square that, I'm going to get an area equal to 200 centimeters squared. Alright, so let's go to the next shape, a pentagon. And let's say we needed to find one of these central angles. So let's just call that angle 1. Well, anytime you need a central angle, you're just going to take how many of those little triangles that makes, so that's 5, it'll always be the number of sides, and we just divided it 360 by that number. So you can do 360 divided by 5 to get what that angle would be, and divide that, you get 72. So angle 1 would equal 72 degrees. If you wanted one of these other angles, so let's say angle 2, well, we know that the angles have to be 180. That has to be an isosceles triangle. So you just take 180, subtract the 72, you're going to get 102. That's for the two angles, so we're going to divide the 102 by 2 to get 51 degrees for angle 2. Now if we needed to find the area, we could. So let's say we had a side length of 4. Well, it's a triangle, so I need to know the height. So we can draw a height in there. And we know that angle 2 here is 51 degrees. And since I just cut that in half, we know that this half is 2. So now I can use the tangent function. So tangent of 51 equals opposite over adjacent. So that would be x over 2. So to solve, I'm going to multiply by 2. So 2 tangent 51 equals my x. Type that in my calculator. 2 tangent 51. And I'm going to get about, we'll just round to 2 5/10. So now I can do the area of the triangle. I can just do 2 times 2.5, because I won't have to divide by 2 that way. So 2 times 2.5 would be 5. So each one of these triangles would be 5. If I showed you the right way, it would actually be 4 times 2.5 divided by 2, which would, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that would be 2.5 times 2, so my area equals 5 for one of those triangles. And then I have 5 triangles, so I'm going to multiply that by 5. So my area would equal, or be about, because I rounded when I did the trig function, so it'd be about 25, and let's just call this centimeters squared. Alright, one more thing I didn't mention, and that was this word apothem. Oops. And what an apothem is basically this line right here that I drew in, that height of that triangle. So it's going from the side of a pentagon to the center. That's your apothem. You can think of it as the height of the triangle for most of these. Alright, one more. What is the area of an octagon with a perimeter of 80? So let's start with an octagon. Do my best to draw this. Oh, that just got bad. There we go. That's a little bit better. Alright, since we know this is an octagon, there's 8 sides. And we know that the perimeter is 80. So we just take 80 divided by 8, we get 10. So each one of these sides is 10. We can draw in the triangles on this. End up with 8 triangles. And we can find the area of one triangle, multiply it by 8, and then get the area. So let's draw in the apothem, height of that triangle, figure out the angle measures. So you just take 360 divided by 8. So one of those angles would be 45. So we take 180, subtract it from 45. And get 135. We're going to divide that by 2 and get 67 5/10. So one of these angles down here, 67 5/10. So that side length, we got to cut it in half. So that'd be 5. So we do the tangent. So the tangent of 67 5/10 equals opposite over adjacent. So that'd be x over 5. Multiply both sides by 5 to solve. So we get 5 tangent 67 5/10 equals our x. So type that in your calculator. 5 tangent of 67 5/10. And you're going to get about 12. Round to 12. So now we can do our area. Area equals 10 times 12 divided by 2. We know 10 divided by 2 is 5, so 5 times 12 is 60. So an area of one triangle is 60. We multiply that by 8. And we would get 480. So our area of that hexagon would be about 480, and let's say these were inches squared. My square got kind of in my angle measure there. Alright. So that's how you find different areas of any polygon. It doesn't matter how many sides there are. The steps are the same. Now there are some special ones like the square we did first, or a hexagon you can turn into 2 trapezoids, but all of them can be turned into triangles. So if in doubt, you can always go with the triangle route.